everybody. This is the Friday Support Call. Our host this week is Reva Seybolt. Reva has been a certified Sedona Method coach since 2009 and a hands-on healer and life coach since the 80s. Reva, I understand that a lot of your focus is older people, and I was just curious if you'd like to tell us a little bit more about that and what kind of topics you work with.
Well, welcome all. Thank you for coming to this wonderful hour plus. I live in Vermont, and obviously you can see I'm very young. And I have found that people who are facing aging issues really need support around physical issues, mental issues, emotional issues, and particularly the whole sense of loss of freedom. And for that reason, the Sedona Method is absolutely perfect to work with people because the loss of freedom is what the Sedona Method is about. So I like to focus with that. Some of the people who come to my groups are 40 years old and want to know about aging issues, and some people are 80. So it all depends on how you're feeling any point, any day. So does anybody have anything? I like to just get a feel of my group. Does anybody have anything they would like to release on? And I'll maybe do a group release after that. So is there anybody who'd like to release on anything in particular, aging or otherwise? Okay, Ingrid?
Aging is a beautiful topic. Yes, if you could do a group release maybe on that.
Sure. So each of you just go inside and notice what comes up when you hear the word aging. Just what comes up for you personally. Is it physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, all of the above? Just open to it. And then open to any emotion that might be involved along with any thoughts. Just open to the emotion that comes up when you think about aging. And could you welcome it, allow it to be there, open to it even more? And could that be released? Could that emotion or some of that emotion be released? Is it releasing? And when? And open again to any thoughts, feelings, emotions, pictures, sensations, sounds you have about the word aging. What that means to you. And is there any resistance to the idea of aging? And if so, could you open to that resistance? And as we all know, resistance just makes things more resistant. So could you let go of some of that resistance? And if you can't let go of it, could you open to it? Whichever is true for you in the moment. And could you allow that resistance to be released? And would you? And when? So now just open to one specific aspect of aging that you've been thinking about dealing with, just any particular one, rather than the whole big picture of aging. Open to just one aspect. And just allow it to be here. And when you think of that aspect of aging, is there any wanting to control, wanting security, wanting approval, wanting separation, wanting oneness? And if so, open to one or Any of those. And could you let go of the wanting? When we want something, we don't have it. So could you let go of the wanting? And would you? And when? And could you open to something that's positive about aging? Something that feels good to you, to the mind body about this aging? Could you open to that some more? And could you open to the emotion that comes with that positive aspect of aging? And open some more. And then, are you that mind body that is apparently aging? Or are you something more than that? Okay. Ingrid seems to have disappeared from what I can see, but does anybody have any comments or thoughts or want to jump off from what we just did?
Ingrid just reappeared, by the way.
David seems to have raised his hand.
Hi, Reva. Is it Reva? Am I pronouncing it right?
It's Reva, but I'll go on by anything.
Okay, Reva. Hi, nice to meet you.
Same.
So I have a request for some assistance with the issue of dementia, which runs very powerfully in my family. So every time I find myself forgetting, somebody's name or whatever, it stirs up some anxiety about, is it starting, whatever. So, yeah, that's my issue right now.
Lots of people. So I'd love to work with dementia. my issue some days too. So could you just open to whatever the word dementia brings up in you?
A lot of fear, anxiety.
And could you open to that fear and anxiety?
Yes.
And could some of that fear and anxiety be released?
Yes.
It's possible. And
Yeah.
would you be willing to release some of that fear and anxiety?
Yes.
And when?
No.
And is that fear and anxiety yours?
In this moment, it feels like it is.
Okay. I ask that question from 2 points of view. One, a lot of the fear we feel has to do with the way our society presents an issue. And sometimes it's just fear and anxiety that's out here and isn't ours in the most simple way. Obviously, in the non-duality way, none of it's ours. But one of the things that I found helpful is to acknowledge that a lot of the fear I feel is put on by the media and our culture and really has nothing to do with me. I just live here. So could you let go of some more of that fear and anxiety?
Yes.
Okay. And would you?
Yes.
And when?
No.
So what's coming up now when you think about dementia?
a lot of um, wanting security, wanting safety, wanting to know that I'll be safe and secure. Yeah.
So can you open to the wanting security and wanting safety?
Yes.
And where does security and safety come from? How do you know when you feel secure and safe?
I just do. It's just there. The feeling is there, or it's not.
Okay, so could you open to the feeling that you just noticed about security and safety that you found? I'm just open to that.
Mm.
And then
Yes.
open to any of your mind going blah, blah, blah about all the terrible things about dementia. That you, if you had dementia, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, good.
Okay.
So all those things that your mind's telling you, are they happening now?
No.
Okay. So could they be released?
Yes.
And are they releasing? Can you feel them releasing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when?
Now.
Okay. And can you find the sense of security, that sense of safety?
No, I can't. I can't find it.
Okay.
It's
Cool. So open to wanting to find security and safety. No, it's what you were just doing, wanting to find it.
okay.
And could you let go of wanting to find it?
Yes.
And could you consider the possibility that it's always there? Possibility.
Yeah. I have that as an intellectual. I accept that intellectually. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Not sure I'm connected to it emotionally yet.
Okay, so could you open to any apparent resistance or apparent thoughts that make you feel unconnected?
Yeah. There's a sense of resistance. Yes.
Okay, so could you let that go?
Yes.
Would you?
Yes.
When?
Now.
Okay. So what's here now?
Just a general sense of foreboding.
Okay. So could you open to the general sense of foreboding?
Yes.
And could you let go of that apparent sense of foreboding?
Yes.
And would you?
Yes.
And when?
Now.
Okay. And what's here now?
less foreboding.
Okay. So could you open to less foreboding?
Yes.
And could you let some more of the foreboding go?
Yes.
Okay. And would you?
Yes.
And when?
Now.
So foreboding is a sensation that we call foreboding. It comes and goes. What's here now?
There's a wanting to know the future.
So can you welcome to wanting to know the future? You're hitting it on all the high points of working with aging. This is great. So
Can repeat the question for me? I'm sorry.
sure. Can you open to wanting to know the future? And is it possible
Yes.
to know the future?
No.
Okay. So could you open to wanting to know the impossible?
Sure.
Okay. And could you let that go?
Yes.
Would you?
Yes.
When?
Now.
Okay. So what's here right now? Not in memory, not in projection, but what's here right now?
A great sense of peace in this moment, secure, safe, comfortable, peaceful.
So what I found about aging is that when we're in the moment, that's exactly what's here for all of us. And when we get the seduction of aging is to pull us into projections about the future and the past. And I find the exciting thing about aging is it really, for me, is a discipline in being in the present. Because literally it's all we have. And at this point in our lives, we know it's all we have. And that dementia is something that's out there that might happen and we can focus on it, but it pulls us away from the precious time that we've got left in the here and now. And so when I work with aging, it's usually to bring the discipline of being the here and now. I mean, that's the gift of it. So I can spin off on dementia. Any of us can, but is it here and now? No. We forget some things, but our mind tells it's dementia. So what's here?
The same. Yeah. But yeah, I feel much better. Thank you, Reva. I think that and what you just said is very reassuring. So thank you for that as well.
It's also part of the gift I think we can give people that are younger, is because when we're younger, we're in a hurry to get somewhere. And at this point, we've either gotten or not, but it's here and now, and we can share that. And I find that's also something that I can bring from my aging, bring in a loving way to the younger people that I love.
Yes, as do I. Thank
Thanks,
you.
David. No one else has anything? Are you being shy? You don't, Anne.
Hi, I'm not really sure the format. I mean, I've just been listening and attentively to what you're doing. I've, of course, aging. I've been going white for ever since I was like 30 or something. But I've just lost the last year of my life. I mean, no, it's there. yeah. Of course, I lived it. I was in the hospital, I don't know how many days, 100, 110. I was in 6 different hospitals. I had I had a fall in my house, and and I was unconscious for about 2.5 days before somebody was found. I was found, and so I'm dealing with a pressure sore that I got. Otherwise, I don't have illnesses that are sidelining me, but I have this sore that keeps getting infected, and so it's a year later, and the last time I was hospitalized, I wasn't septic. It's like, yeah, I was just, anyway, so I got out pretty soon when that, anyway, so, healing, yeah.
No. So what's here now? That horrible experience of the year is in your memory, and it's in the past. So what's here right now is the septic, the sore.
Well, in the moment, in any moment, I can be fine. I can be happy. I can be joyful. I can look forward to the future. But that is like, I've started having trouble sleeping.
So what's the but? In any moment, life is good, but where's the but come from? There probably many details, but what happens when you hit the but?
Well, I'll never go back to the life I had, like, wow. I can't.
Okay. So can you open to the fact that none of us can go back to the life we had?
Exactly.
And what's the emotion that comes up when you think about not being able to go back to that life?
All the connections that I lost, or haven't grown as much as I wanted with my family and with friends, with local friends and with distant friends. I mean, I haven't been able to barely connect with anybody locally where I live because, there's still this COVID around. And so I didn't want to be vulnerable to it. And I had it a year ago. That was it wasn't why I fell, but.
So could you open to that sense of loss?
Yeah.
That all those folks that you really miss, and how hard it is to have that gone right now. And just open and allow yourself to feel the sense of loss. If you feel it, it can move. If we resist it, it sort of stays there. So yeah, just open to that sense of loss. Okay. And would it be possible to let go of some of that? Have you ever let go of an emotion before?
Sure.
Okay. And would you let go of some of that loss? Feeling of loss?
Yeah, usually I don't think about it.
But you think you're feeling it now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So just allow it to come up and allow some of it to go. Yeah. And it's uncomfortable for it to come up, but if you allow it to move through, if you let it go, then you can move on.
Yeah.
So what's here now? What are you feeling? What are you aware of?
Well, I think of the loss, multiple, and wonder, I haven't gotten to the point of thinking, well, what have I accomplished? Presumably I've done some good for me or others in this last year and before that. But I don't want to let go of that part.
So it's when we let go of something, it's letting go of the attachment to it. We can't, whatever happened, whatever we feels. It's when we attach to it where we, and then we can't. So it's letting go of the attachment. so that then whatever is happening can move through. So can you open to the feeling of accomplishment that,
Yeah.
and just open to how that feels. Okay. And if I ask you to let go of something that's positive, it's about letting go of the attachment to it, because when we're attached to it, then anything that comes up that's otherwise, we fight against. So it's not saying letting go of the positive, it's letting go of the attachment. So could you let go of the attachment to that good feeling? Can you feel the difference or see the difference?
I think so.
Okay. So what's here now?
Just the present moment.
Okay. And is just the present moment enough?
It is.
Okay. So could you open to the enoughness of the present moment? And how's that?
Well, it's really hard to keep the other things from creeping in on the edges. That I want, the
Yeah.
where it is the, yeah.
But that's being human, right?
It's being human. My
That's
human.
fine.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing is, if you don't attach to it, to the apparent mind, the apparent body, and allow things to just move through, they just move through. They don't make you trip and stumble.
Mm-hmm.
So the Sedona method is wonderful because it gives you the tools to let things go and be in the moment. And yes, those things come through and they go through. That's just humanness.
Yeah, generally I have a pretty good attitude.
And all of us has those times when it's harder. And the joyful thing for me is, thanks to the Sedona method, they're just harder. They're not, and sometimes they're not even hard anymore. They just are what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel heard?
Yeah. Usually.
Do you feel heard now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Anybody else like to ask a question? Or I apologize. I'm trying to look at the camera, but I get sucked down into looking at people's faces. So I keep going back and forth. Anybody else? Michael Stewart has raised his hand. Hi, Michael.
Good morning, Reva.
Is it possible to see you, or would you rather not?
Well, I'd rather not actually.
Okay.
Since it's been live streamed, it's a bit weird. Thank you. Yeah, I'd like to do a check-in, please.
Sure. And what's here now?
There's some fear.
Okay. So could you open to that fear, however it feels in the body and in the mind?
Yeah.
Okay. And have you done the Sedona method before?
Yes.
Okay. So could that fear be released?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Okay. Is it possible? In other words, have you ever let go of an emotion before?
Yes.
Okay. So is it possible a little bit of it might be released?
I guess so.
Okay. And would you release it? Are you willing to release it? Are you willing to let go of the fear or some of it? And whatever answer you have is fine.
Yes.
Okay. And when would you be willing to release some of this fear?
Yeah.
Good. So what's here now?
I'm noticing a certain hesitancy about releasing all, wanting perhaps to hold on to it as
Okay.
part of my being. Yeah.
So then let's hold on to it. There's no rule that says you have to let it go.
Yeah.
So how's it feel holding on to the fear?
Heavy.
Heavy?
Yeah.
Okay, and how does heavy feel? Is that
Yeah, it feels heavy.
okay?
Yeah.
So could you allow it to feel heavy?
Yeah. I can.
Okay. And would you like to continue with the feeling heavy?
I guess I'm interested in it, interested in noticing it.
Interested in what it means?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to notice it. Yeah.
Okay. So could you open to your okay. So when we have a feeling and we're interested in what it means, that will continue to hold the feeling in place. Do you want to
Yeah.
do that? It just is
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
okay. So could you open to wanting to understand it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And is that want coming from wanting to control, wanting security, wanting approval, wanting separation, wanting oneness?
Oneness.
Okay. So can you open to wanting oneness?
Yeah. Yeah.
And could you let go of wanting oneness? Because, you know, it's when we want it, we're not having it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And would you let go of wanting oneness?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Would you be willing to?
Yes.
And when?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's here now?
There's a wanting to track what's going on, and a certain heaviness, perhaps.
Okay. What's underneath that? What's go drop down a little bit more in your beingness.
Yeah. Stuckness.
Stuckness. Okay.
Yes.
So can you open to the sensation of stuckness, what it feels like in the body, in the mind?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And would you like to let go of that sensation?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So could you let it go? Would it be possible to let it go? Have you ever let go of anything before?
Yeah.
Okay. And would you let it go? Would you willing to let go of that sensation?
Yes.
And when?
Yeah.
And what's here now?
There's a weight. There's a heaviness.
The heaviness. Okay.
Yes.
So can you open to that heaviness?
Yeah. I
Okay.
can.
And is there any wanting to do anything with the heaviness? Change it, fix it, understand it?
Yes.
Okay. Can you open to that?
Yeah.
And is there any sense that this heaviness has to do with you or who you are, with Michael Stewart?
I think it's to do with the environment I'm in right now, actually.
I didn't get all of that, but it has to do with,
The environment I'm in.
okay. So could you open to that sense of it having to do with the environment?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what's here now?
I would say a wanting control.
Okay. And what's the emotion under wanting control?
Um,
If you're not aware of one, that's fine.
I would say it feels a bit like the stuckness again.
Okay,
Yeah.
so our old friend stuckness.
Yes.
Okay, so can you open to that sensation you're calling stuckness? Just really open to it. And if there's any resistance to it, the stuckness,
Yes.
open to your resistance to stuckness. Because in my experience, resistance and stuckness come hand in hand.
Yeah.
So can you open to that sensation, the resistance first? Good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And can you open to that stuckness?
Yes.
Okay. And could you allow that stuckness just to be here as best you can?
Yeah.
Okay. And open to it some more. Yeah, good. And just allow that stuckness to just move on through.
Yeah.
And what's here now?
Yes.
And what are you
Yeah.
aware of?
I'm aware of stuckness moving.
Come on.
Yes. Yeah.
So what if you could just allow that stuckness whenever it comes up to move? In other words, just open to stuckness and go, okay, stuckness, I'm here. And allow it to move, and if you have resistance and you don't want to be stuck, or you've got all sorts of stories about stuckness, how about if you could just allow them to be here and allow them to move, just like it just did? And if it's not moving, then allow that it's not moving. In other words, allowing whatever's here.
Yeah. That is even quite odd because I got a sense that that energy was definitely in the space. It wasn't mine. Yeah, it was a kind of energetic thing in space. So quite strange.
So Hale would say that there well, maybe I should put words in his mouth. My experience of is that as an energy worker, that sometimes it feels like it's ours and sometimes it feels like it's not ours. And usually we don't feel it unless we have some relationship to it. But most of that takes me on a head trip and takes me way down some dark holes.
Yes.
And what I found is it's better to come back to where I am and allow the energy that in present time to move through me. In other words, that heavy stuckness or the heavy fear or the heaviness, to learn how to let that move through. And as I learn how to let that through, then the other energies that appear in my life, I can work with much easily. So you consider the possibility of, rather than going down the rabbit hole, just work opening to moving the stuckness and the heaviness and allowing the freedom that you are to begin to appear.
Yes. Yes.
Sound good?
Sure does. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay, thank you, Michael, for sharing.
Thank you.
By the way, I did learn, Michael, you taught me that I could look at the camera and not have to look at you, since I couldn't see you. Someone else. Barbara. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, I was trying to allow the mic to work. That was really good what you just said. So I'm going through a situation about a month ago. My cat had fleas, and I thought I bombed it out, and now it's happened again. And I just can't keep up with like washing laundry, and like I don't have a car to get the stuff that I want, and so it's really frustrating. And I'm in a foreign country, so I just kind of can't keep up, and I'm really frustrated. And it's like I lay in bed and he was laying on my pillow again. I just changed it last night, and I'm just all freaked out, like that I'll never get rid of him, I guess. And I'm just, I can't keep up energetically,
Okay.
with washing things and, yeah. And
So
I kind of don't know what to do because I don't have a car, it's kind of frustrating.
So open to all that stuff that's
Yes.
going on.
Yeah.
I lost your video, but if you're okay with
Sorry,
that.
I'll keep the video. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Whatever works. So just open to all of that frustration and the chaos and everything and that's happening right now for you.
Yep.
Okay. And tell me something good about it.
Good about it.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing that's good is that somebody told me when you put baking soda and salt on your rugs, it cleans them simultaneously. So I guess that's what's good.
Okay. So there is something good in this mess.
I guess so. I guess there always is, isn't there? It doesn't feel like it though.
All right. So open to what it feels like, the chaos that it feels like, the frustration.
Yeah, and the strain and like I feel like I can't keep up with it. You know what I mean? Like washing and cleaning and changing everything,
Yep. So open to that.
Yeah. The other thing is this one more thing. My biofeedback lady said, what am I a parasite to? So if that is something that I'm a parasite to something, I want to get rid of it. You know what I mean?
Yep. So that's fun mind food and fun idea to play with. But what's here now? The emotions of frustration.
Sadness and frustration, because before this call I cried, because I was like, I can't keep up. Like, I just don't know what to do,
So can you open to the feeling of not being able to keep up and not knowing what to do? Just open to the sadness and frustration.
Yeah.
Just really open to it as best you can. You're not alone with it. You're here.
Thanks.
And open to any wanting to do anything about it, wanting to fix it, figure out what to do, change it, make it better.
Yeah.
Great. And then open to any sense that this has to do with you or who you are.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Then just open again to what's here.
Yes.
And could you let go of some of those emotions? Is it possible?
Yes. Yes.
And would you?
Yes.
And when?
No.
Okay. And could you open to them again?
Yes.
And could you just open the floodgates and let them release?
Yes.
And are they moving? Are they releasing?
A little bit, yeah. Mm-hmm. They're
Okay.
getting lighter.
Okay, good.
Because I feel really tired too simultaneously because it was a hard night to sleep, and it's, yeah.
Yeah. So could you let go of some of that sense of hardness, difficulty?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes.
Good. So could you open to that again, that sense that you talked about in the beginning of not knowing what to do, not having a car, not knowing what to do?
Yes.
Okay. And who's in charge of what happens?
Me.
Okay. The apparent you. Is that really true, or does it just seem like that?
Mm. It seems like that.
Okay. So could you open to the possibility that beingness could include a solution to your problem? As
I'm
well as
open
including
to
the
that.
problem, it could include a solution to it.
Yes.
Okay. So could you allow all the wanting to control, wanting to fix it, could you allow that to be released?
Yes.
And would you release it?
Yes.
And when?
No.
And could you open to the possibility that there's something around the corner that's going to become apparent?
Yeah, I'm open to that.
Okay. And when you open to that, what's here?
Well, it's just a lot of floodgate of emotions because it's just been really tiresome.
Yeah.
I did call the vet up and she said to bring him in for an injection, but last time she told me she doesn't know what it would do to him. And he almost died on 2 injections. So I said, no, I'm not. And I don't have a car and I'm not bringing him in for that. So, yeah.
So can you open to how much you love him?
Yeah.
And just allow yourself to love him. And is his body, and is he going to do what he's going to do?
Yeah. But I also see him suffering, but I'm suffering too.
So could you open to the suffering?
Yeah.
And can you support him better when you're suffering or when you're able to be present?
When I'm able to be present.
Okay, so could you open to the suffering you're feeling for him, the normal suffering we feel
Yes.
for anybody we love that's in trouble?
Yes.
Good. And could you take that love and just open to it some more?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Just think about how much you love him.
Yeah, Steve knows how much I love him. Steven knows.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Me
could
too. I
you,
really love that little guy.
pardon?
I said I really love that little cat, but it's been a nuisance, with these fleas. He never even went outside, so I don't even get it. So I have no idea.
Okay. So how easy is this to control a cat?
I have no idea. I've tried so many things already the last month.
So
But you,
let go of wanting or trying to control this being.
yeah, I could let go of that. Yes.
Okay. Would you?
Yes.
When?
Yeah.
And could you open to the apparent separation between you and him? The apparent
Yes.
separation. And then
Yes.
could you open to the beingness that includes all, including
Yeah.
you and him?
Yes.
And just open to that beingness, sense of beingness.
Yes.
And what's here now?
Well, before when you were doing the solution, could you do a little bit more of that? Just a tiny bit?
Sure. Okay. So when you think about what to do next, what's here now?
It's a little scary because there's something I would have picked up, but yeah, I just don't know really what to do, to be honest. But yeah.
So my experience is that we can only figure out what to do next because that's more in the present time. Everything else after
Sure.
that is just in our minds.
True.
So what's here now when you think about the situation?
It's a little still just very little bit of like sadness and frustration, but I do feel simultaneously a lot better, but I still feel that just a little bit.
Okay. So is there any wanting to let go of to push away the sadness or frustration?
Yes.
So could you open to the resistance to what's here?
Yes.
Good. There you go. And what do you notice that happens when you open to the resistance to what's here?
It feels like an opening is happening, like it's starting to get lighter, where I really felt tired and heavy and scared, and yeah, feels like more of an opening.
So could you allow that opening to be here?
Yes.
There you go. There you go. And could you, in that opening, is it possible that the next step could appear?
Yes.
Okay. So could you open to that?
Yes.
Yeah. And if does the mind coming in wanting to know what it is, or is your mind coming in?
Well, the mind's coming in saying, wishing the fleas to be gone, the whole situation to be taken care of, and never to experience it again. That's what's coming.
Okay. So could you allow the mind to do what the mind does?
Yes.
And could you just open to being present, being here and now as being part of beingness?
Yes.
Which includes the mind doing what the mind does.
Yes.
One of the things I think is so extraordinary about the Sedona method is that it allows the mind to just do its thing. And then when you're in the beingness in the present time, the one that the mind that's useful actually pops out, and the rest just sort of goes, nah, 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 nah. So
Yeah, true.
So if we come back to the sense of beingness and the sense of here and now, then the mind can do what the mind's meant to do, which is to help us rather than take us down rabbit holes.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely true.
So do you feel complete for now, or is there something else?
No, I think that was good. I mean, I could work another minute or so on solution, but otherwise I think I feel better. Yeah.
Okay, let's just do a minute on solutions, because I think that's helpful to everybody. Just think about, I'm going to do this more as a group release. Is that okay?
That's great. Yeah, perfect.
Thank you, Barbara. So just open to any issue you all have in your lives right now, and open to wanting a solution, whatever that means. Just open to how much you want a solution, how much you want an answer, how much you want it fixed. And just notice the attachment that you have to the solution, to getting it fixed. It's a good one for me. And then think about the problem again. And if you still want a solution, could you open to that want? And whether it comes from wanting control, wanting approval, wanting security, wanting separation, or wanting oneness, could you open to that want, that underneath wanting a solution? And could you let go of wanting? Is it possible? And would you let go of wanting? And when? And could you open to what's here now? And is there an emotion attached or underneath your wanting a solution or whatever else that's going on right now? There you go. So could you open to that emotion? Just allow it to be here. And if there's any resistance, allow that to be here too. And could you let go of some of that emotion? Would you let go of some of that emotion? And when? And if there's still a wanting a solution, could you let that go? Could you let go of the idea of an apparent solution? And could you open to the possibility that in present time, what is needed will appear? Okay. We are at 1 o'clock. We can go a little later, or we can sign off now. I guess I'll open by saying, is there anyone who would like to do a release? And if there is someone, we'll go later. And if no one is at the moment, then we'll sign off. Okay, I have one. So no one wants to release. Would one person just be willing to say something new and good about the Sedona Method so we can end on that? Something that is brought to your life. We're all here for that reason. If any one of you would like to just say a good about it for you.
For me, the community is wonderful. Wonderful people.
Agreed. Thank you.
Also with you, I really enjoyed this call.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed it too. I was nervous, but as you say, you see the community and all the nervousness goes away because you see all the wonderful hearts and the caring that people have. And you just go, oh, well, this is easy.
Oh my God, you did a great job. I mean, it really helped me. Thank you so much. I
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate it. And I want to say that it always works. Like it always works. That never fails, but it doesn't matter how hard the situation ever was for me. And I've had difficult things and it always works. Sometimes things might take a little bit longer, but it always works. So I just wanted to
I
say
like
that.
the session as well. And I love the Sedona Method because it has helped me out of emotional difficulties that I don't have any other tool that is that effective. This one is. This one is, yeah.
Thank you, Ingrid. Anybody else want to?
I'd just like to thank for all the support. I'm grateful for today. It was great. And and I just find it amazing that there's so much support around. It's such a help. You know, I wake up in the morning sometimes and there's a problem, and then I try it myself, and sometimes I get through it. But there's this feeling after all these months that, okay, either there's a support call today, or there'll be one in a few days or next week, and it just really helps. And I really like the people. It's just wonderful. It's just such a gift. So thank you very much.
Well, I would like to thank, on behalf of all of us, Stephen, for pulling this together and holding the community together the way he does. You're a great organizer, and it's a real gift. So thank you.
Yeah.
If you want to do more with me, check out my website, Reva Seybolt. And thank you, Stephen.
Reva, thanks. Thank you very much for leading the call.
great
I'm going to
weekend.
stop the streaming. There we go.
Have a
Push
great
the
week.
button. Bye-bye.
I
Very much.
Well, thanks.